You're listening to the Ask Drone U podcast. You ask, we answer your drone questions. Whether you're here to turn your passion into profit or you simply fly for fun, we're a community of learners and teachers who aspire to achieve greatness. We are
Drone U.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Ask Drone U. My name is Paul.
My name's Rob, and very excited to be sitting in this chair next to Mr. Paul here, talking to y'all. Thank you for spending a few minutes of your day with us. It's been a couple of weeks since we did this, and we're glad to be back.
We are glad to be back, even though, Rob, we have been putting out a significant amount of content on a weekly basis.
Yeah, I think people aren't seeing as many of this style of Ask Drone U per se, because there's so many other things coming out, like your news show, which has been phenomenal.
Thanks, man.
We kind of got the Elevating Drone Life podcast up and running again, which I'm really excited about, where we're going to be interviewing people from all over the industry, which is really cool. So there's kind of different types of content.
I'm actually excited about George's interview on EDL because he's been in the drone business now for quite a long time. He's got a very stable income, and I know a lot of people have questions for that type of person, but I think one thing that George may not discuss about himself is how even keel and how professional and systematic he is.
Yeah, he's a machine. He really is a machine, and I think you're going to enjoy that podcast. It was very insightful for me, and I think it's going to be insightful for anybody that'll take the time to listen to it. Even Kirill was like, because he edited it, of course, and he was like, wow, there's a lot of nuggets in that interview with George.
We should throw that one in Opus, like we were talking about on
Totally.
the walk.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'll be a good one.
Yeah, we're just trying to bring you more content that's going to help you also. Let us know what you think. Please let us know what you think.
Definitely. Also, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's here. Thank you to everyone who's been watching the news show and engaging with that. We're going to have some great news this week. And honestly, this particular podcast, I'm really excited about because it's essentially my favorite way to make money in the drone industry. And people think that you have to live in a city to literally be the most profitable drone pilot. And I would argue that in my years of managing Ride Media, most of my money was made outside of the city. In fact, almost 99% was made outside of the city. So I would
say that's most.
Yeah.
99?
Yeah. Minus 1%. But obviously that's a guesstimate. But that being said, I'm excited because this is my favorite way to make money with drones. I've even tried tapping into the market up here, but it's actually really well established. And it's really well established because these people who have been I wanted to work for Hayden Outdoors. But if you remember when I did the Imus Ranch back in what was that? 2012, 2013. It was like really early. I was competing against the videographer from Hayden Outdoors. And I got the contract over them, and they were much more expensive than I was. But long story short is I was actually grateful to hear that Hayden would not switch over for their media team because he's so loyal to the team. And I'm like, you know what? I'm actually really happy to hear that a client for once is so loyal to the people that work for them. That's actually a really good sign.
That is good. And I think there's a lot of that up here.
There is.
In Northern Colorado.
There is. So I'm going to have to move to Montana, Rob. So anyway.
It's not all bad if you don't, beautiful place in the middle of nowhere, but it's a beautiful place.
I thought it was going to be cheaper to find land out there. Holy nope. Holy no.
Holy nope.
Yeah.
They coined a term. Holy nope.
Well, Lisa and I are considering going to Bozeman this summer at some point, and I was like, well, let's look at some houses. So we looked at something that was comparable to what we have now.
Oh, geez. Probably twice as
much. So I found a house that was 2,700 square feet, the same as our house. Now, we don't have 2,700 finished, but our whole house is 2,700 square feet. Anyway, long story short, guess how much 2,700 square feet was on 1.25 acres?
On 1.25 acres? Oh, I don't know. 1.4 million.
It was 2-point-something million.
I love it.
Yeah, I love it. It's bad.
No.
Yeah, but that just goes to show, though, for this podcast, this guy's asking, how do I make money with drones in a rural area? Montana might be a super profitable area, but we're going to get to that right after we talk about the sponsor of this show. If you are looking at becoming really proficient in mapping, you want competence and confidence to be able to go out and create georeference 2D maps or create lifelike 3D models and be able to work those into VDC operations at construction companies, engineering operations, community and regional planning, or your local government. Long story short is a lot of people are using mapping. And if you don't know the easy, convenient methodologies of getting different types of deliverables vis-a-vis different softwares, then you have found the right place to join a Drone U mapping class. Drone U is now the only drone flight school that is actually certified. We've got 5 certified instructors for Pix4D Mapper, Pix4D Matic, Pix4D Cloud, Pix4D React, and we're working on a couple more here just so that you can get the best encompassing or all-encompassing education on drone mapping software, because gone are the days that one software does every type of drone deliverable. The good news is we've changed our drone mapping classes. So if you want to learn everything that's cloud-based because you don't want to use a Windows computer, you don't want to put the money into that layer of equipment, then good news. You can come to a cloud mapping class and you can join us to learn everything about Esri's SiteScan platform, which is the #1 platform if you're doing any type of SLED operations, engineering, architecture, or community and regional planning. Now, if you're like me and you work more in the private world, then you're going to love our desktop-based processing class, which is going to go over Pix4D Matic, Pix4D Mapper, Pix4D React, and Pix4D Cloud. This way, you can see all the different types of softwares in the Pix4D system. You'll have access to licenses when you come to these classes, which is really great if you're trying to practice those workflows and retain the information after the class. We want to make sure that we provide you with a comprehensive workflow across multiple softwares so that you know what works for you in the deliverable that you are trying to achieve. We're also going to go over acquisitions. You can map construction sites because we've got a couple to map here in Northern Colorado. We also have some other types of areas that we can map, like landscape supply companies, so you can practice all your earthwork stuff. Long story short is Drone U is the only place where you can actually get acquisition training over real world deliverables. So that way you can show those things off when you're attempting to gain clients. Honestly, it's the Drone U experience and it's the Drone U mapping class. So check it out in the link below if you're ready to gain confidence and competence in drone mapping across a suite of softwares.
Hey guys, Robert here. I recently experienced a major life event that has me considering a move from Houston, Texas to a very remote area in northern Minnesota, about 3 hours from the Canadian border. Given the challenges of such a remote location, what type of drone work would you recommend I focus on? Thank you very much. Look forward to your response and appreciate everything you guys do.
Thank you, Robert. Really appreciate the question, and I hope everything's okay in terms of a major life event. We'll assume positive thoughts on that, but yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunity actually in rural areas.
I will say my favorite opportunities are in rural areas. That's for damn sure. I mean, name another drone job that you're most likely not going to be accosted. Name another drone job that is just you and nature and you get to truly show off the greatest parts of nature.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely. And there's probably a lot of, I don't know, I think of like hunting lodges, resorts. There's a lot of lakes obviously up there.
I didn't actually realize in Wyoming how many secluded retreat spots there are. Like in Evanston, Wyoming, It's crazy that there are these like 5-star resorts that literally on the website are like, if you have to ask how much it is per night, you can't afford it. And it's just like, whoa, okay, well, you can afford my drone services then.
Seriously. There you go. Yeah, of course. And again, up in Minnesota where he's talking about going, man, there's, especially during the summertime, spring, summer, Indian summer, all the water events, I would imagine. We
actually, we bid on the 10K lakes wake surfing events that were outside of Minnesota one year, but we actually didn't make it up there. But look, rural areas have numerous opportunities. You know, there's some more nuanced opportunities like home inspections, crop analysis. I actually just did a Zoom call with this guy, John, from South Carolina, and all he does is crop analysis. That is it. And he's like, I only work in things that I know, and I only work in ways that I know I can help people. And long story short is he was doing stuff for reclaiming areas for like hunting zones where they were taking like rice paddy farms and turning them into hunting zones. He was doing a lot of cool stuff. And those are kind of more nuanced one-off things. I think the top 3 opportunities, and my favorite opportunity, number 1, has got to be ranch and farm marketing. You've got to get in with the heavy hitters early. I mean, if you can offer more professional product at a cheaper price point than what they're getting, most likely you'll be able to get in the door at least once. That being said, that is my absolute favorite drone job. And it sounds really simple and easy. It's actually quite difficult because oftentimes you have to make the mundane look really cool. I shot a lot of ranches in West Texas, and these ranches were on, oil-bearing land. They had, I'll never forget this one place that was just across the New Mexican border into Texas. And Rob, the holes in the ground were like bigger than the prairie dog holes that you see around here, but they weren't for prairie dogs. Do you know what they were for?
No.
Tarantulas.
Oh, God.
I mean, literally, there was one time me and Jason were driving back from a drone job. I want to say it was like in the fall, and the sun was going down, and it looked like the road was just moving. And we were like, what? And we're like, it's not that hot. Like, it's fall, so that can't be heat coming off. Well, and then we start driving, and you hear this.
Oh, my word. That's horrible.
And it was a sea of tarantulas.
Oh, that's horrible. Oh, gosh.
So funny, though. I mean, like, they're the size of your hand. It literally looks like thousands of hands.
So what you're saying is there's an opportunity to make horror films. Is that what you're saying?
The hills do have eyes.
Yeah, seriously. Oh, my goodness.
No, but I mean, like, it's still that particular ranch. It was such a great lesson for me because it was so hard to shoot. I had to do dolly zooms. I had to wait for sunset. I had to watch and try to find game all day long. Mm-hmm. And some of my favorite shots were filming onyx, that are moving at 40 miles an hour with an Inspire. And that's some of the hardest subject tracking ever. And yet it's some of the most rewarding.
It's beautiful stuff too. Is that on YouTube? Some of those?
Yeah, I'll make sure that we get some stuff to Kirill to show because I'll be honest with you. There was one year that I did more than 6 figures in work and it was just all ranch work.
Yeah.
So,
and so there are websites that focus on land, large swaths of land. And one that I actually keep an eye on is landwatch.com.
Oh.
And if you go check out landwatch.com and just look at, it's everything from 5 acres to 20,000 acres. And you'll see that very few have drone shots. Mm-hmm. And none have like a cool drone video like what Paul was doing. And there's opportunity for that.
Dude, there really is. And the ranch marketing is there. I mean, I remember the commission on one ranch in Texas that was Weatherford, Texas. And we filmed a ranch out there and it was 26,000 acres. In fact, I don't even know. Do you have your calculator? Rob's mind is a calculator.
No.
But I want to say it was 26,000 acres. I think it was like $100 million for the ranch. What was his commission? Let's just keep it simple.
100 million at 6%?
Yeah, because he represented buyer and seller.
Well, that'd be what, $600,000?
Yeah. So for you to charge $10,000, $20,000 for video is chump change.
Absolutely. And the thing about it is you're making this place look like something somebody wants to get and wants to have, right? Yeah. So a lot of it comes down to the editing.
It does come down to editing, but you bring up a good point that I think a lot of people don't use to sell their drone work, which is perception is reality. And I think even you learned this a little bit the hard way with, forget the name of the street.
With our house on Aztec?
Aztec. Uh-huh. I keep wanting to say Torreon, but it was Aztec. Because even with the realtor and the photos from the phone, like it was good enough, but it wasn't claiming.
Well, we were the realtor. Jana was the realtor.
I know. I was trying not to say that, but yeah.
Oh. Sorry, hon.
You do a great job, Jana. I just didn't want to say anything negative. So.
I don't think she took the pictures.
I thought it was one of the kids that did it. It doesn't matter. Now I'm shitting on even worse things over here, okay?
Your whole family sucks.
No. The point is just that like you guys were commanding top dollar for that flip.
No, that wasn't a flip. That was our house.
Yeah, but you did flip it, right? I mean, you did a lot of reno to that house.
We did. We lived there 3 years, but we only sold it because we were moving here.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I'll let you talk.
No, anyway, here's what key facts I remember. The listing was first put up with iPhone photos. You were not happy with it. It was a really busy market, and you guys were not getting hits on it. I remember we shot that house the next afternoon. We did drone photos. like ground photos. I don't remember what else we did, but I
Couple
think
drone shots.
yeah, I think like in 2 days you had 3 offers and that were in the price bracket that you were trying to get.
Oh, we got more than asking. Yeah.
So this proves, though,
Mm-hmm.
that the quality of your media showcases the perception. I'm not going to lie. This is actually one thing. It's very easy in Florida. It's very hard in West Texas, where you don't have foliage that grows higher than 6 feet off the ground, where you don't have mountains and beautiful things to showcase. I remember one ranch. It was 260,000 acres, and it started on Nowhere Road. I mean, it took 4 hours to
Literally,
get
it was called
Nowhere Road.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's funny.
Yeah.
Someone had a sense of humor.
I have it pinned on I still have it pinned in my Google Maps. So
Yeah.
I remember one time that we worked a ranch on the border and we saw coyotes crossing people across the border. And I don't mean wolves.
Actual coyotes.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And anyway, my point is we were talking about the top 3 drone jobs in rural areas. Ranch and farm marketing is by far number 1. In order to be successful at it, you're going to have to go shoot some. You have to get really creative. Dolly zooms. You've got to have slow-mo video. You've got to have animals and wildlife. There's a lot of stuff that you have to show. Ranch infrastructure. It's got to be green without being oversaturated. I remember one ranch I worked on, and the ranch owner was like, I know this guy has 20 vehicles around his house. I need you to go into Photoshop and remove every single one. And I'm like, oh no. This was before AI tools to do that stuff, you know?
Yeah, that's rough.
So
That's really rough.
Anyway, I just think it's a massive opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very profitable opportunity. I think the other opportunities, I think of Jason in North Carolina, who lives in a very rural area. What does he do? Home inspections.
Mm-hmm.
He does about, I think, $1,000 a day in revenue in home inspections. That's fantastic. We talked about crop analysis. I don't know if that would be the top 3.
Well, I think something that's a little bit up and coming because it's become more of a thing in the last couple of years is inspections of utility towers and lines, cell towers, because if you're out in those remote areas, you're in places that other people don't want to go.
It's true.
Right? So if you can kind of cover an area, whether it's 100 square miles or however wide you're willing to go in terms of a radius, there could be opportunity in that as well.
True.
Because there's a lot of towers and utility elements that need to be expected over the next few years.
100%.
And always will be, really.
And in fact, I'm thinking about New York, and that's the number one thing that we do in rural New York. So
Yeah.
Good point.
Exactly.
And utility work is one that's still contracting out, especially for high quality pilots. If you're brand new, don't expect to get into utility work. It is possible, and I've seen it happen, but
Depends on need, supply and demand, like anything.
yeah, but I mean, you can get a good job in a rural area making about $125K a year flying towers. So mapping right of ways, all that. So I think the top 3 jobs for rural areas is number 1, ranch and farm marketing. Number 2, home inspections, business inspections. And number 3 is utility inspections. So
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
and that actually covers a wide gamut. There's so much opportunity in those 3. It's crazy. So
Yeah, no, it does. But again, I wouldn't sleep on, like the hunting lodges and the resorts that are going to be up in that part of Minnesota either.
True.
I know you're saying it's very remote, so
yeah.
I don't know how much of that is up there, but there's some. I mean, I know there is.
Yeah. No, there absolutely is. So
Yep. Anyways, cool.
Anyway,
Hope it all works out for you, man.
Definitely. I think this is a great opportunity that if you have a question similar to this question or nuanced, go to Ask Drone U, upload that question, and hopefully we won't have to interrupt the show because it smells like a fire is going outside of our door right now. It's really strong though.
It is.
So
Yeah, we'll go out. It's steaming. Anyways,
it is steamy in here, Rob, but I thought that was just your bald head.
Well, I got nothing. I don't even know what to say to that.
That's going to do it for us today. But if you have a question, askdroneu.com. If you want to master mapping and work in utilities or ranches or any of that, come to a mapping class. You won't regret it. And for everyone asking about our new mapping classes, they are in editing right now, should be available in a couple of months. But again, we are the only drone school that offers certified instructors for photogrammetry. So if you want the best taught from experience, thedroneu.com.